Dan here from rcnightmare.com. Today I'm going to show you how to replace a suspension arm, front suspension arm or A-arm on the HPI Blitz. So you can see I have in front of me a Blitz that's partially disassembled. I've taken off the right A-arm. This is just a demonstration video, so I've removed it. I'm going to show you how to put it back. So let's go ahead and do that then. So first things is, obviously you got to remove the wheel, as I've done already. Just one screw there or a nut on that. Next thing to do is remove the shock mount here onto the arm, and then remove the shaft, suspension shaft down here that holds the front uprights or wheel carriers here, and remove that, this, and that'll free up the arm. But to actually get access to it, to remove it from the chassis, what you need to do is remove the front bumper. And to get the front bumper off, you actually don't have to take it completely off. These two screws up here can stay on there. I don't know if you can see that, these two there. But the screws that you do have to take off are two right here beneath the bumper brace there. And then if I flip this truck around, there's two right there. Okay, and those are the two screws that you need to be able to remove the front bumper out of the way. So what happens is you can lift it up like that. So that's a quick bit on how to get it apart. What I'm going to show you now is how you would put it back together. Essentially, the steps for taking it apart is the same as putting it back together, except in reverse order. So here's the right suspension arm. I'm going to flip the truck this way so you get a better angle here. Front suspension arm, upright, shaft. Missing a shaft, here's the shaft. And then we have the front brace too. So these are the components that I've taken off and you'll need to put back on, or I will have to put back on. The shocks, you can take them completely off, but I'm leaving it just dangling there. Just saves one step later. This other tie rod here, I'm just leaving that dangling because I didn't want to mix it up with the other one here. So let's go ahead and put this back together. The arm itself is labeled right on this one in the corner here. On the other one is labeled left, so just make sure you have the right one. And you would just slide this right onto the suspension mount that's in there. If you have to replace the suspension mount, the way you'd get to it is undo these two screws. Whoops, that's a little too high. There's two more screws there underneath the chassis, and that's what holds it there. Actually, if you have to replace that, there's actually a few more screws you'll have to get access to. But let me get through this here. A-arm. Now, the suspension shafts, the longer one goes on the inside, so it goes in from the front here. Okay, this is a little awkward because I'm looking at it funny. So there, that's it with it slide in. With that in place, what you can do is put on the front brace, and that just slides right over top both of the pins there, or shafts, and then there's a plastic washer like thing or end cap that just goes right on top. And what holds this component or part onto the chassis, or holds the pins in place, are just two little cap screws. So just go ahead, screw them in. They are 1.5 millimeters hexes. I'm going to flip this truck around so that I can put this in, and then I'll flip it back. So let me show you here. 1.5 driver. So basically, I'm just using my thumb to keep the front brace in place while I drive it in here. And on a side note, I'm not using the Allen keys or tools that came with the truck. I'm using some drivers that are actual like drivers. Awesome upgrade. It makes your unscrewing, rescrewing much more painless. So there you have it with the front brace on. That actually holds the arm in place. We can go ahead and move this down, the suspension. You can actually go ahead and put screws in that right now, but I'm just going to leave that out right now. Next thing we're going to put back is the front uprights right here. They would go in here just like that, right? Make sure the ball part is facing the back of the truck. If you had to replace this, then any of those components could be switched out. Again, this for demonstration purposes, I just took off the original part and I'm putting it back here. There's a little plastic washer that you need to put behind the upright, and it's just a spacer. Whoops. Let me get this in here. So to hold this onto the arm, we actually use the smaller pin here, and it goes in from the back. So to make this easier on us, let's just slide it up, slide the washer on, or spacer, whichever you like to call it, and then put this component. It's a little tight in here, so fish around a little bit. So there you have it. With the pin in place, there's a set screw that takes a 2mm hex, and that goes on the back. So where you put in the pin right next to it, there's a little screw hole there for this set screw. And it just, all this does is just captures the pin and keeps it in place. Again, this is fairly awkward to do it from this angle. So I'm just going to flip it up real quick and put that screw in. Let's see, like that. And again, I can't stress how handy it is to have these as drivers as opposed to the L wrenches. Okay, so with that in place, we're well underway here to installing this. Shocks would go down like this. This would go here. The other tie rod over here goes on like that, right? So we're all set. What I'm going to do now is install the bumper on. And like I mentioned, there are 4 screws, 2mm. That hold the bumper assembly onto the chassis or the front assembly here. So I'm just going to put that one in, flip it over, and just to save time, I'm going to put in one back here. I'll come back and get it. Get the other one. So you would do 2. 2 here and then 2 in the front. The screws at the back are set tapered screws, and screws up front are just round cap screws. So, okay. So what we can do now is just snap on the tie rod here. And the easiest way is with some needle nose. Just open up the jaw so it's, you know, one above, one below. Just snap it in. All done, right? And then with the other tie rod that I've taken off here. There's a way that you want to orient this stuff. Usually you want everything oriented the same direction. You see how this thing is, let me get my screwdriver. It's kind of marked. So here's your, the place where you would put the wrench to turn it, and then it's got this extra bit of material. That's consistent on all the tie rods on the truck. The reason they did this is so that when you assemble it, if everything is facing the same direction, so I have the end all on this side, if everything's facing the same direction, you can use your wrench and adjust them all sitting, you know, in front of it or whatever. If you have it mixed up, then you're going to have to do right to do this one and left, turning leftwise to do the other one. So let me just line that up right here. And again, same deal. Just snap it on with some pliers. Okay, that end is on. And then now for the end at the bottom here, snap it on. So next thing to do is put the shock back in place. There's actually two mounting holes here for the shocks. You can use this to adjust your truck's behavior, shock adjustment, so you can move it in to have the arms extend lower and move it out to have it rise a bit higher, or you can just change your ride height. Either way, I'm just going to put it back into the original slot so it's on the outside. And as we can see, just like that. So just tighten that. There you have it. So the removal process was the exact opposite of what I just did. The only thing remaining now is to put the tires on. So tires come on, and then there's the nuts that would just go in place. So that's it. That's what you need to do to replace the suspension arm on the HPI Blitz in case you break it or whatever like that. So I hope that is helpful for you. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and check our website at rcnightmare.com. Thanks.